Welcome back to the Profit Builder Unscripted. If you're somebody who is hiring new people for your team, or you are finding yourself in a situation that is a new environment or a new thing that you have not had exposure to before, you're going to want to listen to this episode. All right, let's jump in. We have 3 children, and our oldest daughter, Kari, had a baby recently, and Kari is somebody who is very successful in her career, in her life, and she's if you met her, you would think she has a lot of presence about her. She's a very confident woman. And it was very interesting. Our grandson, her son, James Edward, was born a few weeks early. This was about a month ago, and she had to be induced early for whatever reason, not really the point of this story. But after James was born, I said, how are you doing? Now, if you're listening to this and you're a parent, you know that parenthood is like a game changer, right? Like there's a lot of things that we can do to prepare for parenthood, or books to read, or so on and so forth. But it's just different. Like when you're in it, like kind of like any experience, right? When you're in it and you're there, it's different. You like all of a sudden you see it from a different perspective. You have a different experience of it. And what she said to me was very interesting, and it kind of surprised me. She said, "I'm great. And I don't like that I didn't have more time to be clear about what to expect and how to navigate this time right after James was born." And it was curious to me. And as I was listening to her, and she talked more about that, she didn't like the experience. What was interesting to me is she said, "I'm somebody who doesn't like to be walking into a situation where I don't already know how I'm going to handle it, or how things are going to look, or what to expect." And she's in her 30s. I've known Kari for a lot of years, right? But it sort of surprised me about her. And then in that whole conversation got me thinking about, wow, how often does that happen for us when we walk into a situation that we're not prepared for, or you've hired somebody to come and work for you, and that person, even though they have all of this capability and this competence and intelligence and presence about themselves, get into a situation where they haven't navigated this particular landscape before, or they're exposed to a new thing that they haven't done before. And how often does it make us, or make them, right? If that maybe is you, or it's somebody who's worked for you or is working for you, that it kind of brings up a certain amount of insecurity or unsettledness about them. And it made me think that, how do we do as employers and as leaders and managers in orienting somebody and really onboarding them into a new position? Like, do we spend time with them in a way that we can help them ease through the part that they don't really know about? And it made me think that we have somebody new coming onto our team. And this whole experience with Kari really had me sit down with Dorothy and go, let's make sure we have a really clear onboarding plan with her, and make sure that she understands us and how we work and how we function, because she's done all these things. Like, we know she has the experience that we need, but how can we make it so that we are tapping into the best of what she has to offer, this new person, Jenni, who's joined our team? How can we make sure that she's set up to be successful using all of her skills and experience, and also at the same time have grace for, hey, like, we do things a little bit differently. She definitely has the experience, right? But we do things a little bit differently. We have our process, we have our system, we have our culture that we've created, and making sure that we spend time with her, orienting her to it so that she can be most successful. So I appreciated the analogy for Kari. Now I have to say that, watching her as a mom has just been amazing and wonderful and delightful. And of course, like as I've watched her every week that has passed, she's more and more confident and more, self-assured, and she's, figuring it out as we do when we're parents, right? Like we figure it out as we're going along, as best we can. And it takes time, right? And when we're dealing with a new employee or we're in a new position, it takes time for us to orient too. So one thing that I would invite you to maybe check out is my course called the Contractors Hiring Blueprint. And in that course, the very last module is all about how do you onboard new employees. So the whole course is about how do you find, recruit, interview, hire, and onboard new employees? And how do you do that successfully in a way that you're super clear that that person is the right person for the job, that you're setting them up for success once they've accepted that position and they've started working with you. I'm dropping a link below where you can check out the course and find out more information about it. It's been a game changer for so many people I've worked with to use those tools as they're doing headhunting for people and looking for people to add to their team. All right, I hope you found today's video to be helpful, and thank you again for being part of this community, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Profit Builder Unscripted.